In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the best way to raise your haircut prices, whether you are a hairdresser or a barber. We work closely with barbers at the moment, but this will also work in any service-based industry where you're exchanging your skills and expertise and time for money. Over the years, I've worked as a barber myself, who has gone from charging nothing to something, and all the way up to $150 to even up to $450 per haircut before I stopped cutting hair and went full-time into education. So over the years, we've obviously dealt with hundreds, if not thousands, of barbers who are looking to increase their prices. Some of them we work with closely, and some we work with just through Instagram, just messaging people on Instagram and getting a feel for where they're at and where they want to go, right? So we make a lot of content around pricing, and when we do, it starts a lot of conversations. And these conversations kind of lead us to a very interesting place. A lot of people know that they need to put their prices up, but they don't know how. And they're afraid that they're gonna potentially lose clients, that people aren't gonna come back, and that their business is gonna crumble and fall to the ground. And it's understandable. You know, it's a scary thing to do because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So that's why we developed a system. And there is a way to do this. There's a better way to do this than just to put your prices up overnight and expect your clients to just pay more for seemingly the same thing. Now, we know that it's not the same thing because as barbers, as hairdressers, we're always getting better. Our craft is getting better. Our service is getting better. We're upgrading our space, we're putting new things in, we're buying new equipment, so on and so forth, right? But if our clients don't know that that's happening, then we're going to run into a little bit of trouble. So the system that we created is called the price increase run-in. And really, this should be happening 24/7 because we live in a world of inflation where the economy and everything around us, all of the prices of everything and the cost of living goes up every single year. And it goes up by about 10% on average per year. So if you're not putting your prices up by 10% on average per year, you're actually losing money because everything else is starting to cost more. And if you're earning the same, you're essentially losing money. So the system itself is based on communication. It is how can we best communicate our value to our clients? And when somebody comes to us, you know, we'll identify bottlenecks, we'll identify, is there actually room for a price increase right now? And when we do, what we like to do is start to work backwards from the chosen date of the price increase. So the run-in is essentially a psychological model, and humans, we don't like surprises. Your clients don't like surprises. You have to let them know plenty of time in advance that you're going to be putting your prices up. Now there's nuances to this. You know, when we do it with our clients, we help them craft individual messages that they send to their best clients. And so far, we've had zero kickback. We've had people put their prices up by $15 to $20 at a time and have no kickback, have no friction. And the common theme when people come back to us after using this system, the common kind of thread is that I wish I had put them up by more. So I'm a big proponent on putting your prices up by more than little amounts, because the less times you can surprise somebody, that somebody being your clients, the less times that you can surprise them throughout the course of, say, a year or 2 years or whatever it is, the better. So when you do this well, you communicate it once and you implement the price increase once. Now, what would justify a price increase? Nothing. You don't need to justify anything because your time and your skill is valuable. But we're inherently valuable as human beings, but in the marketplace, we're not. So building brand and keeping our clients updated with what we're doing at all times, you know, if you're getting coached, if you're getting mentored, if you're increasing your skill set, on a regular basis, you have to let your clients know that that's happening. You know, if you're busy, like this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see barbers make, being busy and not advertising how busy you actually are. Because, and this is the kicker, people will say, but Owen, I don't want any more clients, so I'm not going to market my business. But the marketing isn't for new clients at that point, it's for your current clients. And it's all about perception. It's all about how they see you. It's all about, do they see you as valuable enough or as busy enough to justify the price increase? Now, like I was saying, there's no justification needed, but if you do a good enough job of brand and you do a good enough job of planting the seeds with your clients, you're not going to have any problems when it comes to raising your prices. So there's a good way to do this and there's a not so good way to do this. There's definitely bad ways to do it, and every time I see it happen online, on Instagram or wherever it is, I will actually screenshot these messages and like stories. You know, one of the worst things that you can do as a barber is to let your clients know that your prices are going up on your stories. It's so impersonal and it's so, for lack of a better word, it's a little bit lazy, and it's not going to be the most effective. So there is a better way to do this. You know, communicate it in advance, put a little bit more elbow grease into it, craft personalized messages for your clients, and let them know plenty of time in advance. So not only that they know, but so that you can handle any potential objections that you might have in the meantime. Because the last thing that you want to do as a barber or as a hairdresser is put your prices up for it not to work and then have the feeling that you have to go back. Because once you go up, you don't go back down. Once your prices go up, they're never coming back down. So there's a better way to do this, and that is by using this system, the price increase run-in. Last year, Lee and I traveled all over the world and we spoke about this topic on many different stages, the art and the science of pricing. You'll also find that video here on YouTube. I'd advise that you go and watch that next if you want to put your prices up, and that's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks or a couple of months. And like I said earlier in the video, it is nuanced, like every person's situation is going to be slightly different. So if you do want some advice on how to do it for your situation, be sure to reach out. But please don't just put your prices up overnight and expect everybody to be okay with it. In some cases it will work, but it's a little bit like playing Russian roulette with your business. So let people know plenty of time in advance, put a little bit more effort and care into it, nurture your clients a little bit more. And if you need help, please reach out. We've done this with many people, like I said earlier, and have had zero kickback. And remember, putting your prices up is not a want. For many of you guys, it's a need. You're in business and you need to be pricing for profit. We are not a charity. Or another way of looking at it is it's not a hobby either, because charities are still businesses. So at a certain point, if you're not pricing for profit, you are losing money. And let's not do that.